As the 2023-24 school year comes to a close, we here at CTV came together to rank our favorite top 10 moments of fall, winter, and spring sports. So with that being said, let's start with number 10. And that is, of course, we got to talk about the absolute amazing game against San Diego State with the Cartier spin cycle move to get the win. What a game, you guys.
Honestly, one of my favorites of the year. I mean, looking at this game as a whole, it was really a prove yourself game for CSU because it felt like we were a little bit on a slide, and all of a sudden we're facing one of the top teams in the country, and bam, come out with that statement, and Cartier just sealed it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just, again, one of those things about San Diego State. Oh, man, I believe this year was one of the best performances we've ever had against the Aztecs.
Yeah, it was I believe, the biggest margin of victory since it was a while ago, like 2017 or so, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
It had been a while. It was, and that felt great. That felt great because we were in a slump. We had that game, and we looked confident. We looked like we belonged there.
Well, and even looking back at the highlights, like again, Nick Clifford with his staple dumps.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Nick just coming in.
Yeah. And on state pride, too.
Yep.
State pride, and especially after losing twice to SDSU last year. Actually, no, three
times in the tournament, too.
And then almost beating them in overtime,
Right.
and then in the tournament coming so close.
And again, thinking that program, they did well this year, too, again, in March Madness. So it's just like, it was a really good victory to have when we were kind of in that crucial moment in conference play this year. And that brings to another really good moment where we were talking about Nick Clifford. And, oh my gosh, number 9. Oh my gosh. The Rocky Mountain Showdown. Oh my goodness. So Nick Clifford, obviously, he came from Boulder. That was his previous school. He transferred here this year, and he had a game of a lifetime against his old teammates. Amazing performance, sold out crowd, probably the loudest crowd I've ever been a part of at Moby Arena, and that says a lot. Like, there has been some really big crowds, and he put everything out there. If we look right here, the toss, like that is the best dunk we have seen. And it's crazy. That was one of the best games. And, Isaiah Stevens being able to have that win. Like, what were your first thoughts and emotions from seeing and watching that game?
I mean, going back to high school, I was able to watch Nick in person. Senior year, we beat him. And
apparently I was too.
Well, I don't think you were at that game.
No, I was. That was the one high school basketball game I went to. Because it was against Vanguard. And we won and Manitou Springs won in overtime.
And I've been
following. But
I've been following him ever since, and I've been thinking this guy is capable of so much. CU just wasn't the right spot for him in the end, and I am so glad that he was able to come here, make the impacts that he did, shooting up the draft boards while he was at it, coming into the year as a virtual unknown when it comes to the NBA, and having that type of impact in that type of game.
Yeah, CSU was just, he may have not played here as long as he played in Boulder, but I think he's gonna consider himself a Ram.
Oh, 100%. And it's like we also just got confirmed of Nico Medved extending his stay here for another 5 years, which is a really big moment. And there was a lot of rumors going around, obviously, with new coaching changes and can you leave? Who's gonna stay? Right? So that is promising for me as players, knowing that their coach, their leader is staying. Hopefully we're going to have a lot of players continue to want to do their grind here, be a Ram, like you said, even though he was at Boulder longer, he's way more loved and appreciated here at Colorado State, for sure.
Nico just knows the role that he should be in, whereas it doesn't seem like Tad Boyle ever really figured that out. And so he didn't really perform at Boulder, and so people didn't think he was very good. But it turns out when you put him in the right role,
if you give him a chance,
pretty dang awesome.
Yeah.
If you put him next to somebody like Isaiah Stevens, that'll be awesome. And now, moving on to number 8, speaking of Isaiah Stevens, we have both Stevens and McKenna Hofschild breaking multiple assist records. I mean, you see Isaiah, he was able to absolutely destroy Ryan Yoder's old single season assist record. Great guy, by the way. McKenna able to get those 692 assists. just absolute masterclass of distributing here, and we're really lucky to have both of these players here at the exact same time. Like, some schools go decades without seeing this quality of player, and then all of a sudden, bam, here we have two in the same class.
Right, and it was at that border war too, where Zay was able to put that up, and oh my gosh, like we could have a whole segment on those two players alone, besides just their assist records.
Their impact is just truly unmatched, and it will forever go unmatched. And it's one of those things where we're kind of in the glory days of CSU basketball.
Oh, I think
most definitely.
In 20 years, we're gonna get to talk to CSU kids, and we're gonna be like,
we were in the Nico Medved.
We were in the Nico Medved era. We were in the Ryan Williams era. McKenna Hofschild. We were here when she played. Isaiah Stevens, David Roddy.
That's such a good point.
You could make an all-time team out of the past 6 odd years of CSU basketball.
Like, people love to talk about the Sonny Lubick days of football, which, yes, those were great. But also, like, what basketball is doing for both sides right now.
About these days of basketball.
Yeah, and it's really impressive. And, obviously, they're both number 4. And
do you guys think it should be retired?
Yes. And I think it should be conjoined.
Is the sky blue?
I know. I also think it should be retired. I don't know if they're going to do that or when they're going to do that, but
there's definitely been chatter, though, and I think
I'd love to be there.
With the amount of records that they have broken, and again, the tournament appearances.
And just being here for as long as they were. We had Zay all 5 years. McKenna, we had her for 4.
Yep.
Both of them came back.
Yeah.
When they didn't have to.
And Zay easily could have gone to the G League. McKenna probably could have declared for the draft or gone professional overseas. They chose to be Rams.
I mean, they chose to be Rams, and we're very grateful for their time here, but obviously there's so much we have to talk about still.
And for our top number 7 moment, still basketball. We're still on this. And it's the peak of when CSU men's basketball was ranked number 13 in the country. This is the highest ranking in CSU men's basketball history.
Like, ever. Even from when we.
That's what history means.
And even literally does. But I'm thinking of back even when Roddy was here, and it was like, oh my gosh, they're 20th. But that's why this is such a big deal, because even then,
13th. We were so close to cracking the top 10.
I know.
We were so close, and then we just had that loss to St. Mary's, and
it killed us. It crushed us.
I feel like I'm a bad luck charm. Every time I go to a game, we lose or it's way too close.
Well, and if you think about
Gideon,
it too,
maybe stop going. I'm just kidding.
Then maybe watch on the Mountain West app at home.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, it's like one of those things, and they had such a hot start to the year too, going 10-0 in their obviously first 10 games, and then having those huge wins
beating
against Creighton,
teams too.
Washington, right?
Washington, CU.
It was huge, and only having so it was St. Mary's and Nevada for our only 2 home losses of the year.
Yeah,
because
they were both incredibly close. I mean, obviously Nevada
was a
half-court
heartbreaker.
miracle shot, and then St. Mary's, that was a 2-point game.
Yeah, Moby Madness is real, 150.
And St. Mary's went off after that.
Oh yeah, no, they did.
I mean, they were one of the best teams in the country.
And they are. They consistently they are.
It's just a good program.
And you guys, I can't wait because our next one, we're still talking about basketball. We're still talking about basketball. Moving on to number 6.
We promise they're not all that.
We promise.
We swear.
One of my personal favorite moments of this year, March Madness. The first 4 play-in game for Colorado State in Dayton was something I'll never forget it. It was something that was so special being out there, but for every Ram fan, for everyone who tuned in the history, it was one of the only basically wins we've ever had in March Madness. I believe it's like one of 5, and so it was just unbelievable. Virginia, they didn't even really show up to play. Like at
my aunt is a UVA fan. We have actually quite a few UVA fans in my family. When my mom heard the draw, she was conflicted over who to cheer for.
Wow.
And I was like, "What do you mean I go to CSU?" Yeah. But I was texting with my aunt about it, and she turned it off at halftime.
Wow. But I mean, again,
I can't watch this.
There was that crazy
14 points, that's ridiculous.
There was a crazy stat of like actual time. Again, there was halftime, but like
real time. Over an hour.
Real time.
When they scored. That they flashed not the game time, but they flashed, it was 9:10 p.m. when they last scored.
It was insane.
And I mean, it spoke a little too soon because to be fair, us against
Then
Texas.
We scored 11 points and a half.
Virginia was contagious though, because Texas only scored
I was
15
gonna
the
say,
next game.
Texas didn't score many more against Tennessee.
I mean,
so.
I just think again, it was a grind for them. They had to play a game that they shouldn't have in the Mountain West tournament. They had to play the play-in game,
beating Virginia by that much, they just proved that they didn't need to be there.
No, and it was a great experience. March Madness is a huge thing for both the players and fans. It's an experience of a lifetime, so that is definitely number 6 moment.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at mid-majors taking down Blue Bloods, we're halfway through the list, and coming in at number 5 here, we have volleyball beating Kentucky. I believe that was the home opener way back in August.
Yes.
First game of the season.
I mean,
first game in the Emily Cohan era.
Yep.
Yeah.
The whiteout, best game of the year.
Absolutely insane. And when we're looking at it, this athletic department is a school that knows how to schedule some big opponents for those home openers.
Definitely.
Especially in volleyball.
Especially in volleyball. And looking at this game in particular, CSU was able to come out and just destroy Kentucky coming out the gate.
Oh, it was so fun.
It gave everybody
so fun to be there.
It gave everybody such a ray of hope and positivity for a squad that eventually made the Mountain West Championship.
Yeah.
Yep. And I take it back. Maybe that was the most loud crowd I've been a part of it. Moby.
Yeah,
It was
I mean,
really loud.
That was a fun game.
At the time, it was later broken by a basketball game. That was the largest student crowd in Moby history.
Yes. And obviously, too, for having that many people come out and support Emily Cohan in the first year of her coaching, with the Tom Hilbert era being so impactful, legendary.
So influential.
It's great to see the community still want to support
CSU
that
volleyball.
Squad in volleyball, regardless of
awesome.
who's coaching. And it was such a special thing to be a part of.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
But before we get to the podium of plays, number 4, we're going with, we know it was a loss, but it was still a blast. The Rocky Mountain Showdown. Because, we came into this game and we had all the attention, but none of it was on us. And everyone was just talking about how CU was going to absolutely obliterate us, and we went out there and we embarrassed them.
Oh, 100%.
In front of how many people were watching this game? Like 9 million?
One of the most watched college football games
of the season.
And this was the start of CU's skid. We were really
we got in their heads.
The blueprint.
Yeah, and they only won one game after this.
No.
It was against ASU.
And
Which-
that's, I know,
Which,
to see them get that embarrassing
They lost
loss
to Stanford,
against
and Stanford
Oregon.
came back 29-0.
I just think that game, especially like you said, we were supposed to get slaughtered, and no ESPN analysts even probably knew who Tori Orton was. They didn't bring up
and
any
they
of the
definitely
game
didn't know
stuff.
who Braden Fowler Nicolosi was.
No, and that was such a big moment for him, and to come out as a freshman quarterback, and that hat and sunglasses comment. Who knows? It may be one of the reasons we stuck in that game. But you guys, we gotta go to our top 3. It's time.
It is
for
time.
The top 3. This is where it gets really tough for us. But this is what we decided as a squad for number 3, and that is, of course, the Soccer Mountain West Championships. They had one of the most historic seasons ever for Colorado State, and right here, they were able, oh my gosh, let's just watch for a second. It is just a moment that we have to be able to take in over San Diego State.
San Diego State was the 1 seed in this tournament. They've just come off of a loss against them. They came up to Laramie. It was 0-0. And watching this game, watching this game, all San Diego State could do was try to prevent CSU from scoring. They had no offense. It was all defense. And then CSU came out, wins it in the shootout. It was so fun. It was so fun to be there.
I was just stressing the whole time. I was sitting down in the newsroom with some of the folks from the Collegian, and we were watching it, and the second that we realized that this squad was going to the championship, all of us were on our feet.
Awesome. It was so fun.
It was so much fun.
But speaking of championships.
And coming in as the runner-up spot at number 2 is the Maya Lesnar National Championship. The first indoor national champion in Colorado State history here. Transferring here from down in Arizona, having this huge media spotlight, very easily could have let the pressure get to her, but no, she comes in.
Oh, she's too good for that.
And she, it would have gotten to me. And she comes in and destroys it. You can see the excitement there. This is the type of thing that's a once in a lifetime here.
She's a beast. She's a beast, and there's no denying it.
Yeah.
I mean, she is one of and will go down as one of the greatest CSU athletes of all time.
And
oh, no doubt.
And it's just like she keeps climbing the ladder.
Yeah,
It's like it hasn't
and she
even
just keeps
stopped
getting
for
better.
her. And it's like even we're in the outdoor season right now, and she's still breaking
winning.
records.
Is there a record she won't break?
Yeah, honestly, that is true. But for the grand finale, our collective group has decided that this was the top CSU moment of the year. And you know, it's hard to beat a national championship, but this insane miracle against Boise State does. Because this was insane. How...
The first ever program win against
I know,
Boise
first
State.
ever program win. What was it, 30-point comeback? 20
At 20-point
20-point comeback in a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And to look at like the last 4 minutes of play is some of the craziest that we will ever see. And literally, like if we look at this, even just this is what got us started, like the catch to Tori, and here we have the Hail Mary to Dallin Holker.
To a tight end.
It
gets to a tight end of all positions. So super rare.
But also at the same time, they had practiced it. They said they practiced it.
There's a reason they practiced
and you know, it's either going to go to, you know, in that case, like Tori or Dallin, whatever position that they were in, it tipped off, and he happened to be in the right place at the right time. And as fans, of course, no one stayed, but we were all supporting and watching, and it was one of the best games that we were able to see. But you guys, like, it's been quite a year, you know. It's hard to compact it all into one thing, but you know what? It's not even over yet, and we have so much coming up. But for now, have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, and of course, we'll see you next week.